call the meeting to order for Thursday, April 16th. Roll call, please. Mr. Martin.
Here.
Mr. Spence.
Here.
Dr. Ross.
Here.
Ms. Dameron.
Here, sorry.
That's okay. Mr. Mattern.
Here.
Mr. Merriman.
Here.
Mr. Zimba.
Present.
Mr. Becker.
Present.
Ms. Jean Angel.
Present.
Thank you. All present and accounted for.
Bob Walker also.
Thank you, sir. And Warren's gone. I'm going to stand and pledge allegiance in a moment of silence, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands
One nation.
for which it stands, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, you have your minutes before you from our March 5th meeting. A motion would be in order to approve it.
So moved.
Mr. Martin, second by Mr. Mattern. Comments or questions? Roll call vote. Mr. Martin.
Yay.
Mr. Spence.
Yay.
Dr. Ross.
Yay.
Ms. Dameron. Mr. Mattern.
Yay.
Mr. Merriman.
Yay.
Thank you. In accordance with sunshine laws and the teleconferencing, which have been allowed by the state legislator, we do not have to ask questions from the residents during our open meetings. However, in fairness, I did put out an information that if they had questions, they could email us or send a letter in, and we have received none. So we will move on. Thank you. You have Resolution 2020-03. It's a resolution whereas the Village of Wintersville, Jefferson County, herein referred to as the political subdivision, hereby submits this written agreement to participate in the Ohio Department of Transportation's ODOT annual road salt bid in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 5513.01B, and hereby agrees to all the following terms and conditions in its participation of the ODOT salt contract. This again needs to be passed today, so I'd like to suspend the rules.
Motion to suspend the rules?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Mattern, second by Mr. Martin. Roll call vote. Mr. Martin.
Yay.
Mr. Spence.
Yay.
Dr. Ross.
Yay.
Ms. Dameron.
Yay.
Mr. Mattern.
Yay.
Mr. Merriman.
Yay.
Second read, Resolution 2020-03, whereas the Village of Wintersville of Jefferson County, Ohio, herein referred to as the political subdivision, hereby submits this written agreement to participate in the Ohio Department of Transportation ODOT annual road salt bid in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 5513.01B, and hereby agrees to all the following terms and conditions in its participation of the ODOT salt contract. Third read, whereas 2020-03, whereas the Village of Wintersville, Jefferson County, hereinafter referred to as the political subdivision, hereby submits this written agreement to participate in the ODOT annual road salt bid in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 5513, and hereby agrees to all the following terms and conditions in its participation of the ODOT road salt contract. Motion be in order to approve 2020-03.
So moved.
Second.
Matter, Martin. Are there any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please. Mr. Martin.
Yay.
Mr. Spence.
Yay.
Dr. Ross.
Yay.
Ms. Dameron. Mr. Mattern.
Yay.
Mr. Merriman.
Yay.
Motion approved. Thank you. We'll get this off to the ODOT tomorrow. Resolution 2020-04, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the Village of Wintersville to enter into contract for the construction of a sanitary sewer system rehabilitation Phase 5 project, declaring an emergency. Motion be in order to declare emergency and approve this resolution.
So moved.
Suspend the rules.
Second.
Roll call vote, please. Mr. Martin.
Yay.
Mr. Spence.
Yay.
Dr. Ross.
Yay.
Ms. Dameron. Mr. Mattern.
Yay.
Mr. Merriman.
Yay.
Second read, Resolution 2020-04, resolution authorizing the mayor of the Village of Wintersville to enter into contract for the construction of a sanitary sewer system rehabilitation Phase 5 project and declaring an emergency. Reading 3, Resolution 2020-04, resolution authorizing the mayor of the village of Wintersville to enter into contract for construction of a sanitary sewer system, rehabilitation phase 5 project, and declaring an emergency. Motion be in order to approve 2020-04.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions on 2020-04? Seeing none, roll call vote, please. Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Dr. Ross?
Yay.
Ms. Dameron? Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Thank you. Motion passes. Reports and announcements from the mayor. First, I'd like to thank council and our solicitor, Chris Becker, during these unprecedented times for their patience and understanding as we work through such extraordinary times. I've worked hard to keep everyone apprised of situations going on in the village, even though I know I have missed some items along the way. Rest assured, you and the residents and the business of Wintersville and our surrounding area, we are working hard to protect our residents and businesses during these novel times. We've been working hard to protect our first responders and the village workers and thank the residents for their patience and understanding as we conduct business a little different as we abide by the stay-at-home orders and social distancing. We will at some time in the future start going back to some normal businesses, but as of now, we must refrain from doing anything that could put this village and the county in harm's way. Just as families and businesses struggle financially, the village budgets are not being exempted from these financial hardships. We will act fiscally responsible and have limited only purchases to those that are deemed necessary. Some items that were purchased already had been ordered and contracted prior to the stay-at-home orders. For example, we had already purchased a new sanitation packer in 2019, which has actually been delivered this week. We had already ordered a new F-150 police vehicle, which will be delivered in a few months. Some major purchases have been put on hold until we can determine and review later in the year what the actual impact of our budget will be. Just like many families and businesses, we too must put off some projects and services that we plan to provide in 2020. We will have to postpone and possibly cancel, for example, the 2020 spring cleanup and summer park program. For safety and budget reasons, we won't have the manpower of summer help and other individuals from the Sheriff's Department that were able to assist in this endeavor in the past. We know this will provide a hardship to everyone. We must all work together and get through this and stay patient and understanding. I sincerely want to give a great gratitude and thanks to our fast food businesses that have remained open and continue, and ask that everyone do their part in trying to support them. I especially want to thank each and every employee at Kroger's, the Dollar Store, Big Lots, and any other business employees being there and risking their health so that our residents can purchase necessary food and essentials that they desperately need. I want to assure you that I've had many discussions with Nicole Blakis with the County Health Department, and she continues to work tirelessly in helping us stay focused and working to keep this valley safe. I've had conversations throughout this pandemic with our state and federal representatives, and on a couple occasions needed their assistance in helping getting things accomplished in order to keep this village safe. Especially would like to thank State Senator Frank Hoagland and Congressman Bill Johnson. They have truly been listening and helping in addressing our needs. Everyone will not agree on certain steps that we have been taking, but all I ask and advise is that we all are working hard in order to save as many people from dying or being exposed to this dreadful virus. Many people are making and wearing homemade masks. I ask that if you are out in public and social distancing could be difficult, to please wear a homemade mask, scarf, or bandana and protect others. I know they aren't pleasant, but you can make some very interesting masks. Let's do so and not be ashamed or think you're too manly to wear them. We are all in this together. We will get through this. We will be stronger in the end. God bless, and let's team together to defeat this virus. Thank you. You have the code enforcement report in front of you, or the mayor's report, the court report in front of you. The city received $6,541.35. This is for March. $1,091.50 went to the state. $85.50 went to other. Code enforcement report for March: 9 licenses, 675, 8 permits for 450. The week of April 6th through the 12th was National Public Health Week, and the theme was NPHW at 25, looking back, moving forward. I made a proclamation honoring this as Public Health Week last week, and we posted this on Facebook and it's never more apropos that we actually think and consider and concerned about public health as we go forward. We have been advised and directed not to shut off water for at least the next 60 days. So in accordance with that, we have not, and we will continue to abide by what we are being asked to do. What I ask for council tonight is that we would waive late fees for those that are paying their water bills late. By no means, by not shutting off water, does that mean they will not be responsible for paying the water. We still would ask that all residents keep their water bills paid and current. As we know, these could be rather large expenses if they continue to accrue. But I believe it's at this time we should waive any late fees for this month's billing, which was actually for March, and also we'll do it for April's billing, which would be those dollars collected this month and next month. So I'd like a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions?
Just had a question on, has there been any thought about when this comes back off, about penalties at that point? Or is that a discussion more appropriate for water committee?
Well, I think right now we're going to say we're going to hold it off for 60 days. So it's 2 months worth of billings and we'll pick it back up. If those, there'll be a time when we won't waive fees, so they'll need to get their payments, or else fees will be charged. Yeah. And again, we're doing this basically for the auditors as well.
Sure.
Okay.
Understandable.
Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, roll call vote. Mr. Martin.
Yay.
Mr. Spence.
Yay.
Dr. Ross.
Yay.
Ms. Dameron. We can barely hear you, Ms. Dameron. If you could speak up a little closer. Mr. Mattern.
Yay.
Mr. Merriman.
Yay.
Thank you. Last Saturday, I called it the little Easter Bunny Parade we had here in the village. It started at noon. I wanted to thank Officer Straka, who escorted it with myself. We went through 99% of the subdivisions. We could not hit a few because they were dead-end streets. It was hard to get the vehicles turned around. I'd like to thank Deidre and Sean Reichert, who put this on and had the idea to do this, Marcy Zangrando and Fallon Martin. And we did this also in accordance with the Fort Steuben burial estate, and Tony was very involved with that. Felt terrible that they couldn't have their Easter egg hunt, and so I do know they did put together about 100 Easter baskets and sent those out to children prior to this, but they participated, and I think not only the kids, it was a nice day. I think a lot of residents came out and enjoyed it, so I want to thank them for that. Again, just letting everyone know, the administration is going to postpone spring cleanup and the summer park programs. They may be canceled. I'll have more information at the next meeting, depending on where we're at. Again, we are not going to bring in 5 summer help employees. We need to watch our budget. We have to do some cost savings, so I will not have the personnel. We are going to bring 1 summer help in to help with some of the trimming of the grass in the parks and things of that nature. We do have 2 positions that we have not filled, one in the water department and one in Public Works. We will hold those off as well. Reminder, I'm going to cancel the May 7th meeting with all the uncertainty of what's going on, and we will meet again on May 21st. All right. I'm going to go to the administrator report. I will cover this for Walt. He's on the phone. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Martin?
You forgot summer garbage, spring pickup, trash pickup
Yeah,
canceled.
that's canceled. Well, it's postponed. It may be canceled. I'm postponing it for now. It won't be in the weeks of June, depending on how.
To another month, maybe?
Maybe we'll see how, if I'm able to get personnel and finances can cover it, we'll try to do it in July, but there's a high likelihood it'll be postponed.
Okay,
right.
Okay, that's good, you postponed it. Maybe it's an opening, we can still have it.
Yeah, there's an opening, but right now it's not going to be the Mondays in June.
Okay.
The administrator report, you'll see before you, again, the Phase 5 sewer project, the bids came in, Border Patrol with $2,028,337.66. James White Construction came in at $2,669,727. Our engineer's estimate was $2,043,000. $1,040, and you'll see Border Patrol came in below the actual engineer's estimate. And again, this projected area will be for Moon Valley, Rex, Russell, East Church Street, 2 Acre Drive, the former Respecs plus Iki and Squirrel lift stations. So we'd ask for a motion in order to approve this project to Border Patrol.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions?
Yeah, when's this ready to begin in the neighborhoods?
It will probably, I mean, Walt, I don't know if you can hear that, it's probably, the earliest should be fall.
No, we will be underway probably mid-June, definitely before the end of June. But
that's
I'm
good.
thinking
Oh, wow.
Early to mid-June they will be underway.
Ain't too far from now.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I hope they do a better job, the group.
The 2020 infrastructure project summary, Knowles Water Line, Orchard Place, Orchard Street, Locust Street, Walnut Street, all water lines are in and charged. Walnut Street and Locust Street service connections are complete. Orchard Street and Orchard Place connections are underway. Wells will be connected last. Anticipating paving as soon as plants open, early to mid-May, weather permitting. So again, that's high on our list to get completed. The 2019 carryover, Meadowbrook, Squirrel Hill, in Grandview cul-de-sac, Shelley and Sands were awarded that contract last year, and hopefully that'll get done here in early May. Also striping of Caddis Road. ODOT Main Street, Kroger's to Wendy's. Again, ODOT is dealing with this project, and they're saying that their bid opening will be May 7th. So we're hoping that they would do this early June paving. We have not heard of any request to delay or cancel this project at this time. And I know, as you noticed, the gas company is pushing to get Main Street done with the new gas line so that it'll be complete so we can then pave this. So they've actually moved up Main Street, so they knew we wanted to pave, so they're replacing the lines now. So apologize for inconveniences, but this will all be behind us. Hopefully in the fall it'll be done. We request permissions to bid the 2020 projects for paving. 2020 paving would be Fernwood and Luray Drive, the second part of Luray. We cannot award bids until after July 1st, probably later. You'll see the OPWC funding status announcements. So I'm asking a request to bid for this project.
Need a motion for
Yes.
that? So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions? Roll call vote, please. Mr. Martin.
Yay.
Mr. Spence.
Yay.
Dr. Ross.
Yay.
Ms. Damerman.
Yay.
Mr. Mattern.
Yay.
Mr. Merriman.
Yay.
Thank you. And again, we've heard nothing about this being delayed. I know funding has not really truly been approved from the state legislator, and they're having the same financial concerns as well. We're hoping this does get done this year, if not next year, so we will know. Next thing, you have the ODOT winter salt contract that we just approved that, and that'll be sent off tomorrow by Tammy. 2019-20 salt purchases, we purchased 1,114 tons. Cost the village a total of $108,140.90. Again, as we discussed in the past, there's about 386 tons we did not purchase. It cost us a $1,500 penalty that saves us approximately $37,000, which helps the 2020 budget. The new sanitation packer is out in the front, so if you have a chance, drive by, look at it. And again, that was the cost of $155,240 that came out of the sanitation funds of last year. OPW, I'm sorry,
You said we could take the sanitation truck for a drive, you said?
that's our sanitation truck in the parking
You
lot.
said we could take it for a drive?
No, don't take it for a drive, no.
It does have cruise control. I checked it out already. It's locked up. I was ready to jump in. Yeah, it's looking fine.
Take it
Looks
over
nice.
to your plant.
One of the things, again, OPWC defers all of our payments from July 2020 to January of 2019. If you look on the next page, basically that is savings to the village of $37,134.93. And these funds will come from savings coming out of our sewer fund and the M&R fund, which again, our M&R fund will be lower because it comes from the gas tax, and we're not sure what type of hit that's going to take. But there will be some savings here that the Ohio government is giving, each community.
Mayor, I got a question
Yes.
on these taps you say was completed on Locust Street. My mom didn't get hurt.
She's a well. The wells will be done last.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, you said completed, I just.
No, but I wrote down here, what the wells will be last.
Okay.
They'll be done,
All right.
okay? All right, I want to move on to the chief's report. It started here, we wanted to apply for 2 grants. Actually, it's going to be 3 grants I'm going to ask that we can apply for. The first one is an FDA grant, 65% loan and 35% grant ratio for the village. The loan is required to obtain a grant or CP equipment program can finance police cruisers, computers, radios, bullets, vests, and so on. Our interest rate at this time is 2.75, and the term is dependent upon the equipment purchased. I'm not sure what the likelihood we'll be able to get this federal grant, but I'd like to at least pursue the option and see if we can get it, and then we can decide at a later date if it's approved where we can put those expenditures. So a motion be in order to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions? Roll call vote. Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Dr. Ross?
Yay.
Ms. Dameron?
Yay.
Mr. Madden?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Thank you. Second grant, our normal limit on grant funds per project is $50,000, but has been increased temporarily to help communities, especially in a disaster area, including Jefferson County. We could possibly be awarded up to $100,000 this time in grant funds or 30% of our total project, whichever is less. Please note that all these figures are quoted are not guaranteed. They are the best possible scenario. So motion be in order for this grant.
That's on that other grant, right?
Yeah, that and the next one are on that same.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Martin, and seconded by Dr. Ross. Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote. Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Dr. Ross?
Yay.
Ms. Dameron?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Thank you. It's the third grant here, the 2020 COPS Office School Violence Prevention Program. Deadline is April 29th. I'd like a motion in order to go out and try to apply for this COPS Office program.
Motion to move forward with that.
Need a second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Martin. Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please. Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Dr. Ross?
Yay.
Ms. Dameron?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Thank you. There's a COVID-19 grant. The Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Funding, CESF program, will be utilized to prevent, prepare for, and respond to coronavirus. Allowable projects purchases include but are not limited to overtime, equipment, including PPE, hiring, and training. We'd like a motion to try to apply for this grant as well.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions? Just FYI, those are federal funds that have been awarded by the federal government to the state. There's $4.5 million has been awarded. $2 million of that is already going to go to communities that have 5 million or larger population. That's cities or counties. There's only one city in Ohio that has 500,000 or more. There's 6 counties that have that. So we are, it's not determined by the state what's going to happen with this money. So we might as well at least try. All right? Roll call vote, please. Mr. Martin.
Yay.
Mr. Spence.
Yay.
Dr. Ross.
Yay.
Ms. Dameron.
Yay.
Mr. Mattern.
Yay.
Mr. Merriman.
Yay.
Okay, also, the next item, and again, I think we forgot this, and we want to get 2 are retroactive, and 1 will be coming up here. We passed a resolution that if any new officers on their first, second, and third year of completion would get a $1,000 bonus. Sam Pinkerton finished his 3rd year on 12/30/16 and was entitled to $1,000. Joe McLaughlin finished his 1st year on 11/8/18 and was entitled to $1,000. Ryan Wagner, his 1st year was 4/15/19 and is entitled to $1,000. Paul Euler will be here as 1st year completed in June, and then he will be entitled to $1,000. For the minutes and purposes, I'd like to have a motion to authorize all 3 of these today to be done, and the 4th for Paul to be done in June, that they would receive the $1,000 extra payment in their paychecks.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Mr.
Question.
Matter, seconded by Mr. Spence.
Mayor,
Comments?
that's already in the we voted on this many years ago to do this. Shouldn't have to, that's some administrative call.
We could do it administratively, I know we could do that, but my only purpose is to put it in for the notes for the minutes, because the auditors a lot of time will see why, and it just keeps them from going back and forth. It's really just for audit purposes.
That's what I'm saying, we just doing what we already was approved.
No, exactly, but it's just for audit purposes.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Roll call vote, Mr. Martin,
Yay.
Mr. Spence,
Yay.
Dr. Ross,
Yay.
Ms. Dameron,
Yay.
Mr. Mattern,
Yay.
Mr. Merriman.
Yeah.
Thank you. Also, our SRO officer, Bob Shoemaker, has resigned his position to accept a full-time position with Cross Creek Police Department. The chief will be looking for a replacement. This all coincided after the schools were shut down, so it wasn't really being used at that time. So we did state to the school, as long as we're not providing services, which the school being closed, we would not ask them to pay those months. So just an FYI. All right. Are there any questions for the administration?
Exactly, do we get a date when Locust and Orchard are gonna be done? Because that's been a really long time, and how come they're not working?
I know they're gonna get paved as soon as the plant's open, so we're looking at middle of May. Okay, so that's the big key area.
Yeah, 'cause
How soon, Walt, will they be done? They anticipate all the taps to be done.
They still have Orchard Place and Orchard Street to do. Probably by the end of the month. They already put the meter pits in for the wells. He wanted to be ready, particularly on Locust, to be able to pave Locust sooner because it's a through street. It will be closed to local traffic only when we're paving it because it's so narrow and they can't be running over the fresh asphalt. But we're hoping the 1st of May, but oftentimes the work that both Shelley and Sand and National Limestone have their own projects, those first couple weeks, they run the plant just for their people. It's very hard for any other individuals to get asphalt.
So would we believe by mid-May, all taps hopefully paved, done, and we'll have a punch list by mid-May?
Probably by the end of May, I would say.
It keeps,
Be safe.
Well, the punch list, I mean, you're gonna get, I mean, again,
my ears burn.
I understand, we're getting there. Any other questions?
No.
Okay, we'll move on. Bear with me here a second. There's no unfinished business. We'll do new business. Mr. Merriman.
I'd like to consider what's going on in the world today. I'd like to take a moment and let everybody know how important they are to me. But please, let's continue working together and looking out for each other. I pray for each one of you, your family and friends. Remember, we're in this together. Stay safe.
Thank you. Mr. Mattern.
I also wanted to follow up with the administration's thanks to the service workers and local entities that are remaining open to allow the residents access to basic life essentials and staples. That's quite a commitment from these local entities and service workers. Also want to thank our employees too during this time as well. Also, along with our employees, there was a drain or a culvert issue over there on Ellsworth that was addressed in pretty rapid fashion. So I'd like to thank them on that. The administration also talked about postponement of the bulk trash pickup in June. I've had a lot of questions on that. Have we heard anything from JB Green Team and their efforts in picking up for the tire drop-off or electronics at this point?
I have not, and there's a lot of the sanitation companies, Kimball's and others, are not doing any large plastic, any pickups because of the fear that the virus is sticking to those surfaces.
Sure.
So all that's been pretty much delayed. If I have no idea at this point if it'll be canceled. I do know our pickup for tires was going to be, I believe, the 3rd week of June at Cross Creek. So the point was that we could then, if we saw them, we could take them over there. Right now, I don't have any follow-up answers. I'll get that for you.
Not a problem. Thank you. The other thing, do we have any update at the park? I did notice the park on Meadow. There's evidence that people are getting down in there. The yellow tape just ain't going to work. There was a truck down there or something. It's rutted out. So if we're going to,
Well, the truck down in there, that was the village did that.
oh, is that right?
Well,
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You get exposed.
The village did that.
Oh yeah, I should have known.
In accordance with the health department, they asked us to take basketball hoops off the backboards. So in trying to get down in there to get it out, that's what occurred.
Okay, understandable.
All right.
The other couple other things. Congratulations to Diane Gribble down at the Jefferson County Election Board. She's been a great service to this community and county for years. I know when I first started out, she helped me, how to guide me the right way because, getting into this could be quite confusing to fill out all the applications and all this. So congratulations to Diane Gribble down there. Thanks, and thanks to Misty as well down there. They did a great effort of also, when I was walking through, of registering new voters. And it might not have been to vote for a Wintersville election. There might have been a special issue on the ballot. And they was very helpful with that as well.
Missy's gone.
Yeah, she's gone. The new sanitation packer, in all seriousness, is a fine-looking piece of equipment. Really hope we can take care of it for the next 10 to 15 years. Those things do not get any cheaper. I think when we first started on here, it was about $75,000, $80,000. That's pretty darn near double at this point. We need it, but we also need to take care of it moving forward. The clock does need change before we have a meltdown on that a little bit later. I'd like to also thank everybody and stay healthy.
Thank you. Ms. Dameron.
No new business.
Ms. Jean Angel.
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Becker.
Nothing, sir. Everyone stay healthy. I think we're doing the best we can under these circumstances, and thank you all.
Thank you for your guidance and help, and I probably called you more in the last couple of months than I did in 13 years. But
That's okay. That's
yeah.
okay. That's
Thank you. He's trying to keep us out of court. I really appreciate it. Dr. Ross.
Nothing, but we're almost out of this, I think. I think we crushed it, and we're on our way down, so
Yeah.
that's good.
Mr. Spence.
Yeah, I'd like to acknowledge Wintersville Policeman Joe McLaughlin. I believe it was last month that he was working night turn. Got a call to an unresponsive 2-year-old. Went to the house, and he knew the house was in self-quarantine because he knew the father was showing signs of COVID-19. He went in anyway, assisted with getting the 2-year-old breathing again, and then they moved the child to Children's Hospital in PA. And thank him for putting his community first. And also, everybody, the 2020 census, you still have till July 31st to get those in before they start coming around your house. I believe July 31st is the last day for households to self-respond. And I would like to echo what the mayor said at the beginning of the meeting. I don't want to run down the list and drag the meeting out and bore everybody. And I'd also like to thank the mayor for putting this meeting together to make sure the Wintersville government keeps moving.
You must have took my notes.
Thank you. Anything else?
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing up Officer McLaughlin. We will be recognizing him once we get back to some type of normalcy here when we come bring him in front of council. Applaud his efforts. And again, we applaud his efforts. And listen, our police, our first responders are in the front line. And as always, they put this village and these residents first. And we commend them for that. Mr. Martin.
Yes, I got a couple of things. I want to echo off of what Councilman Mattern just said about the new truck we got out there in the parking lot. Those things cost a lot of money, which he mentioned, because when we first got on, I think Jason got on about a little after I did.
She can't hear you.
Tell him to speak in the mic.
I am speaking in the mic. Show up at the building next time.
Stop it.
But anyway, I want to thank Matter because he pointed out a big thing when it comes to these vehicles. We spend a lot of money for them. We expect our employees to take care of them. be very careful how they drive. Don't get that much in a hurry, not that much in a hurry to get our jobs done so that we start damaging these vehicles early, and running them hard early. Because, buying these vehicles, it costs a lot of money. Taxpayers put a lot of money out for these things, and we want to show them, and we could keep them looking new for at least a couple of years at least, and making sure they stay clean. And getting back to the police department, I want to thank the chief. I just happened to see him on TV before I came up today. Talking about that incident over there at the Kroger's parking lot, with the gentleman. So, like the mayor said, we got a lot of appreciation to go out to all these guys. I didn't hear about the other officer with the kid. Appreciate that knowledge, and he should be accommodated. And again, I want to appreciate the mayor for putting this together. Very diligently and in order. It takes a lot to try to carry on the meeting here and to carry on the meeting over probably about 7 or 8 phones out there, and everybody be able to hear what's going on. And I appreciate Keith, videoing this, coming out today, videoing this and making sure it is, heard by people that can't be here. It ain't like we have a big crowd every week, but they'll be able to see it for the ones who are not here. And again, Mr. Merriman, back at you. We appreciate all our councilmen, councilwomen, and all of our employees that go out there each and every day to do what they do, because they take a chance, because, they don't know what they're going to run into. And especially the police, they go into somebody's house. It's no, you have to do your job. I just seen the chief of the fire department, Rob Harrington, happened to be coming by, and he had a car flipped over right at the drive-in entrance, and he was in his 911 truck, and he did his job. He got out to help pull the guy out of the vehicle that was infected, and maybe I shouldn't have said that, but I didn't use no names. But the thing about it is, my point I'm trying to make is that these guys go over and above their job to make sure our residents and whoever come through this village is safe. And I just want to show my appreciation to them and all you guys sitting on this council and the mayor. That's all I have.
Thank you. There are no transfers. Motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
Second by Dr. Ross. Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please. Mr. Martin.
Yay.
Mr. Spence.
Yay.
Dr. Ross.
Yay.
Ms. Dameron.
Yay.
Mr. Mattern.
Yay.
Mr. Merriman.
Yay.
All right, I'd just like everybody, please be safe. And again, if you have any problems, questions, issues, please do not hesitate to contact me. I'll reach out and answer as best I can. We will adjourn until the next meeting of May 21st at 7 p.m. Motion be in order.
So moved. Second.
Roll call vote. Mr. Martin.
Yay.
Mr. Spence.
Yay.
Dr. Ross.
Yay.
Ms. Dameron.
Yay.
Mr. Mattern.
Yay.
Mr. Merriman.
Yay.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.